This question has to deal with, this is from our Ignition 7 app, is tattooing or piercing your body a sin? Well, I think like a lot of things, when I grew up, people would have said yes. Tattooing was one of those like taboo things, a taboo tattoo, if you will. I think you will. Let's just answer the question biblically. Once in the Bible does it mention tattoos in Leviticus, and it says it's wrong. Don't do it. Leviticus is the Old Testament. In the book of Leviticus, it also says not to have mildew in your tent. That's also a sin. It says you can't eat pork. It says that you can't walk more than a mile away from your house on the Sabbath day. And these are all laws of God for the Jewish people. We are not Jewish people at this point. I don't believe we could take the Leviticus. Again, don't discount everything in the Old Testament. It's true and it's right and it's where God's was. But Jesus has fulfilled. He didn't abolish. He's fulfilled the purposes for those things when he came. And so you are not under Jewish law. Now you are under what Christ says, which is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself, which is going to encompass a lot of the Jewish laws. We are a Judeo-Christian. That means we're Jewish Christian in our roots. We could be a Christian and claim the same father of faith in Abraham and Moses as the Jewish people do. So there's crossover. Don't dismiss the Old Testament. It's not dead. It's not wrong. It's right. It's God still speaks through it. I'm saying when you get into the law of the Old Testament, there are, 613 laws in the Old Testament, I believe, that they had to abide by. Maybe I'm getting that off. We don't abide by those. And Jesus, appeared to say, didn't appear to say, Jesus did not abide by all those laws in the same respect that the Pharisees did. Such as he would walk into the temple and, or he would walk to the fields on the Sabbath and they would pick off pieces of grain and harvest and eat it. And they would say, hey, that's a sin. You can't do work on the Sabbath. They're harvesting grain, And Jesus says, well, yeah, but David went into the temple and ate the showbread when he was running from Saul. That was you're missing the point. For the guy who made those rules, I understand what the heart of them is. And so the purposes of them are. So that being said, from a biblical standpoint, I don't think you can make a strong case unless you are considering yourself a messianic Christian or Jew to the point that you're believing in Christ and abiding by all the Old Testament laws. Then I would say yes, if that's where your spiritual journey leads you in Christ. Now, let's talk just wisdom for a moment about tattoos. Here's what I used to tell minors. I used to tell minors this. If you're going to put something on your body that's going to be there when you're 97, understand something. If you're 15, you've lived, 1/7 of the amount of time you're going to live with that tattoo. It's the same kind of concept for marriage. Like I used to think I would never get married. Oh, marriage will never get here. Soon, and the days are coming, and my wife and I spoke about this the other day. The days are coming, and we're not there yet. But the days are coming when I will have been married longer than I was alive before I got married. So if I got married at 21, I've been married 21 years. That's crazy. That means I've now been in the state that I thought would never come longer than the state that I thought it would take to get there. And then if we're married for 41 years, I've been married twice as long as I was alive before I made this decision. So that decision is important because I'm going to live with it for 2 or 3 times the amount of life that I'm going to live. Tattoos, just practically, these are okay. I don't really think this is an issue before God because, your body is temporary. I'm just saying from a wisdom standpoint, if you already have them, great. There's no reason to talk about it. I'm not on you about tattoos. But I think, number one, get the spelling right because that's awkward. And number two, I'm not pointing out to anybody, just in general for the masses, please. Make sure, spell check your tattoo. And here's just wisdom, what I always said. I used to say, if I'm going to have something on my body that's going to last for the rest of my adult life, I think I would say wait till you're 30. You get to 30, again, 30, I know, so old, right? 30 is still not even halfway through the average lifespan. If you get to 30 and you've been through your 20s and you still desire the same thing you desired when you were 19 or 21, that's going to be on your body for the rest of your life, for the next, 50 years post 30, then I say go for it. As long as obviously, guys, as long as you're not putting a pentagram on you or, and Satan rules or whatever. I don't know what all the cool kids are doing now. Would you say weed? Yeah, be a weird one. So obviously the content of your tattoo probably matters, but at the same time, and some people want to mark themselves in their early 20s for something that lasts for life, and they're proud of that. I think that's fine too. I would say put it somewhere discreet then, that, if you need to cover, because just practically job interviews and whatnot, a lot of your jobs won't allow you to come in with a bunch of sleeves and stuff. Right or wrong, in the state we live in, you can fire someone for anything you want or not hire them for any reason you want. There's you can get upset about it. You be upset as you drive away not having the job. So, it's not going to, yes, justice says, but you're still broke. So there's this idea, just wisdom says, for the sake of interviews and other things, and impressions. For example, when I was in college in a band, Johnny W., who was in our band, we decided we were going to highlight my hair. Okay, So I know who knew. Back then, people did that, and you probably remember this. And so my wife got involved and was going to help, and she put some blonde highlights in. That is to say, she completely bleach blonde my hair, like bright, almost white blonde. Okay? So, yeah. It was kind of cool when you're in college. Yeah. But Johnny was like, well, it'd be cool. What we wanted to be is like auburn, like an auburn color. So we got like this brown auburn hair color to add to that. See, my hair wasn't brown anymore. So that wasn't going to happen. So what happened was my hair turned bright orange. And we knew if we did it again, my hair was going to fall out. Like it went like two times. So we're stuck with orange for a while. This is a microcosm of tattoos. Like I was stuck with that for a few weeks. And when my wife went into the hospital with a brain aneurysm, and her family was coming to see her for the first time, my mother-in-law, who I'd never met a bunch of her family, took me. I don't remember much about it. She took me to a salon and had them dye my hair back brown. Not because anything's wrong with my hair being orange. I just think she just out of thought, well, that's not how your hair's been for most of your life. And I don't know if you want people to, the first time they ever meet you to think you're the dude with orange hair, And because for the rest of my life, I wasn't going to be the dude with orange hair. I was cool with it then. It was cool for shows. It was awesome. I was that guy. I got a few funny looks, but it was UT, so everybody had orange something. And I was just the only dude with orange hair. I was glad it was temporary. So it's okay. I don't think tattoos are sin. Piercing, same thing. If you're piercing yourself again, be careful. If you're piercing something that's going to leave permanent scarring and hurt you, no, I just don't. Why? A big thing for me in tattoos and piercings too is I'm just not a huge fan of pain. Like I know apparently some people are. I'm not a huge fan of needles and pain and piercing and blood and stuff, and please gouge me. I just like not having pain. So, right and wrong, I don't know. Just wisdom says, make sure that you're spelling it right. Put it somewhere you can cover it up if possible for your job interviews if you're going to do it. And, it's okay to express yourself and maybe wait a little longer. If you're really certain about it, why don't you wait 6 weeks? You might not want to wait till you're 30 because I know that's an eternity. Maybe wait 6 weeks and see if you still feel that way about it. Don't tattoo someone's name. That can be awkward when it doesn't work out. Okay? That happens. And so just some wisdom on tattoos. Is it wrong? Only if you are living under complete and total Jewish tradition of the law in the Old Testament, Levitical law, I believe. Hope that answers the question.